All right, we are back on the Andre Duke Show with Carter Smith. Carter, how we doing, man?
Good, man. Happy to be joining you guys on a little Thirsty Thursday here, a little Friday Eve, a little baby Friday, whatever you want to call it. Happy to be out here. Got the kids upstairs. We're wanting to watch a movie, and I was like, "That's perfect. You guys watch a movie. I'm gonna go do the show and get this thing moving for us here." So, doing well, man. Ready for the weekend. Excited for to have a few days, and then the Super Bowl on Sunday, man. I'm so excited for that. Let me tell you, I can't wait. Absolutely cannot wait. Watching the interviews and everything today. And Travis Kelce complaining about the media, talking about fans, they're talking about the refs and all this. And it's such an interesting game. I'm so excited. I don't know about you, but how's your week going?
Yeah, I've been paying attention to the media stuff. My week has at this point it really can't get any worse. I guess the positive side is that tomorrow is Friday, but all I'm saying is that I am ready to watch the Super Bowl with enthusiasm unknown to man.
Unknown to man. That's a great way to put it. Enthusiasm unknown to man, as a national championship winning head coach might say.
Hey, at this point, you're either going to laugh or you're going to cry. So you got to do one or the other.
Exactly. But yeah, man, I mean, I didn't know if you saw, obviously, the Kelce stuff. Did you see the Jameis Winston stuff? I mean, that's been the only highlight of all of this media attention for the Super Bowl has been Jameis out there just asking the hard-hitting questions, like he gets the guy going like, you work so hard to be here, but the question everybody wants to know is, what's your favorite color? And like stuff like that, dude, that just cracks me up, man. And then he's throwing W's to Kelce, and I saw.
Well, I mean, you interject a microphone within talking distance of Jameis Winston, and you put a camera there. Mm-hmm. It's like on that improv scene on TED 2. It's just like it makes comedy. Make some comedy, guy.
We're giving you all the tools.
Exactly. That is pretty much what and where we are at.
But we can jump into it. A lot to talk about. A lot of NFL rumors and notes and everything like that. And then Michigan fans are thrilled right now. And we'll get into it later. But Michigan fans, you see it all over Twitter. It's kind of weird. You can't tell if they're an Ohio State and Michigan fan until you look at their avatar or their pick profile picture. And then it's either one. Ohio State fans are excited. Michigan fans are dropping the boom, like thinking that they just won because Ryan Day got a little extension. And so we'll talk about that and what it means for the Buckeyes and everything like that. And then we will discuss some Notre Dame stuff. But starting off with some social media here, I think you sent this to me, and I didn't really look too much into it. But the Division II national champion Ferris State bought this billboard 5 minutes away from Grand Valley State, who I'm assuming is who they played in the championship game.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I mean, you got to love a nice little troll like that, right?
Oh, undoubtedly slow. If I could speak, undoubtedly so. I just cannot believe that they would that nobody from the university has tried to call the local person and been like, hey, can you take this down?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Billboard space is cheap as hell now because nobody wants to use billboards. I mean, they still serve a purpose, but it's not like it used to be.
Right.
So whoever owns that billboard is like, yeah, I'll take it down. You're going to have to pay me to take it down and put something else up for you. I'm not just going to take it down out of the kindness of my heart for Grand Valley State. It's not like it's Ohio State University, right?
Yeah, but then again, if you get the wrong person that owns the billboard that just does not care, because, the biggest thing that I always try to remember is that, living in the vast world, that there are some people that do not care about football.
Right.
That could care less.
Yeah, very few, but there are some.
But I mean, that's an outstanding troll job.
Absolutely. I agree. I think it's great personally. I mean, I think if I you know what? I'm a little embarrassed by the rivalry. Why has Michigan fans not bought billboard space in Columbus to let them know, enjoy your fake natty, we still beat you, or just put up 13-10 really big in Columbus? What are you doing, Michigan fans? I thought you guys were the king trolls.
That is a good point. We just you can't ever underestimate, but then again, the flag planting in the middle of the horseshoe, I still think that stings a little bit.
It stings a little less when you're wearing a natty ring, but it is what it is. Let's see. We got Amy and Joe in here tonight. Amy, what was your wish? That Ryan Day got extended, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, we will talk about it. I think you and I think a lot of fans feel this way now, which is amazing because probably about at this point, 35 to 40 days ago, a lot of the same fans that are thrilled Ryan Day got extended wanted him fired. So it's been a crazy month, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever it's been. But getting back to some things. So there was something put out today or yesterday about the hardest college football schedule in the country in 2025. And this was brought up, and I'll throw it up there for you guys to see. And just tell me what you think. Syracuse Orange, Fran Brown, might have the hardest football schedule in the country next year. Now, I'll let you go first. What are your thoughts on that?
It's going to be tough to gauge how good Syracuse is going to be because you start with Tennessee. In that, what is that? The Chick-fil-A Peach kickoff game or whatever? Like Clemson played
the Aflac kickoff game this year. Yeah,
I couldn't remember if it was Chick-fil-A or one of the two, but you have the kickoff game, which I think week one is a rough week to judge. And then you have you go to UConn. Sorry, UConn comes to you. The Huskies not really known for much footballing. They had a day with Randy Edsall in the Big East back in the day, and then you got Coral Gate. That's kind of a tomato can.
Yeah.
Then you got to go on the road to Clemson, on the road back again, Georgia Tech, then on the road at Miami, then on the road at SMU. So you have 4 road games in a row. You're going to Dallas.
Well, they won't be in a row. The dates aren't determined. Like they just put the away games at the top of the schedule, and for some reason Notre Dame's at the bottom. I don't know why, because these dates haven't been decided. So you're not going 4 games in a row away. I promise you, they aren't going to do that to them.
I would hope not, but I mean, even if you mix and match, you're going to see Dabo Swinney, Brett Key, Mario Cristobal, Rhett Lashley, Bill O'Brien, Manny Diaz, Bill Belichick, Pat Narduzzi, Marcus Freeman.
A lot of big names on that list.
A lot of people want to say the ACC's, garbage football, but I mean, with that schedule, I think, Miami's going to make some noise. SMU's going to make some noise, and you can't count out Clemson.
No,
they made the college football playoff and they're reigning ACC champs. And now you interject Bill Belichick in there. And then, you got to go on the road to go see Marcus Freeman at Notre Dame Stadium. Notre Dame Stadium is no joke. It's probably going to be the toughest environment outside of Clemson that they're going to go to.
For sure. Just looking at the schedule. First of all, let me start with this. This isn't the hardest schedule in the country. Take a look at Florida. Take a look at some of the SEC schedule. Trust me, there's harder schedules out there. You can't have the hardest schedule in the country when you play UConn, Colgate, Duke, and I guess that's it.
Well, Manny won 9 games.
I understand, but it's still Duke, and it's a tough schedule for the ACC for sure. Don't get me wrong; I'm not saying it's an easy schedule by any means. It's just not. It's not as much as I don't fear a lot of those teams. I don't know what SMU is going to be. Are they going to be a flash in the pan last year, or are they legit? I don't know what Miami's going to be. It could be a turn. It could be Florida's turn to be the top team in Florida, and then Miami falls off a cliff like Florida State did last year. Georgia Tech, that's just a weird game because of the style of offense they play. I don't know. It has nothing. None of these games. I'll tell you, there's 4 games maybe that really scare me on this schedule, and it's Notre Dame, Miami, Clemson, Tennessee. And I'm not saying they'll win every other game. They probably won't. It's Syracuse we're talking about. But don't act like this is any harder than playing Georgia, LSU, Bama, Ole Miss, Texas A&M. Like, Florida has all those on the schedule.
Look, that is the only thing that I'll be interested to see what SMU is this year. I think that SMU should be improved. I think that when they were on the road at Penn State in the playoff, it kind of showed them some things, the difference.
Mm-hmm.
But I just for S&Gs, I just pulled up Florida's schedule.
Yeah, go ahead. I guarantee it's harder.
They have LIU.
Okay.
Have you heard of them?
What is it? Lipscomb International or something stupid?
I don't know. LIU. It's not giving me a name, and I don't even know where they're.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your name is.
Then they got South Florida, Alex Golish.
Yeah, that's not super tough, but it's not like.
Then they got to go on the road to Baton Rouge. They got to go to Miami, which I'm just going to say that's not a home or away game. It might as well be a neutral site game because Miami can't draw. Their home crowd sucks. I'll fight anybody on that. They got Texas coming to the Swamp on the road at A&M. They got State coming to the Swamp, Stark Vegas. They got Georgia. Played in Jacksonville.
Is it gonna? I thought they were switching it so that it was going to be like in Atlanta and then in Orlando or something, but not this year.
Next year.
Oh, okay.
Next year.
Gotcha. Well, yeah.
Might have to make the trip November 8th to go see them play the Kentucky Wildcats at Kroger Stadium, and then they got to go to Vaught Hemingway. Go play Ole Miss. Then they got Tennessee at the end of the year, and then they rounded out with Florida State.
Yeah, that's a harder schedule.
They got a common opponent, but
yeah,
I don't. The only thing I'll push back on is I think not Tennessee, but somebody out of Tennessee, Ole Miss, Georgia, A&M, Texas is going to, and LSU is going to crater this year in the SEC. That's all I'm saying. Probably,
but either way. Anyways, I think that's I think there's tougher schedules out there.
Yeah, but I just it's
Long Isle University, not Long Island, Long Isle.
Well,
interesting.
I guess Stetson, or who'd they play last year? Was it Stetson? They played, or Samford, that they just
Stanford, I think, yeah.
They beat the brakes off of them.
Yeah, maybe, yep. But that's it is what it is. It's Syracuse. Who really cares if they have a hard schedule? They have a hard schedule because they're not very good. Like if they were Ohio,
Fran Brown,
if they were Ohio State or Notre Dame, that schedule doesn't look hard.
Okay, whenever you compare the last 2 teams that played in the Natty.
Yeah. Oh, it is Long Island. Joe made a typo. Long Island. Okay, my bad. I was like, Long Isle. Where the hell is that? But All right. Yeah. I mean, okay. Yeah. So, anyways, Georgia would mop the floor with that schedule. But it's Syracuse, so it's a hard schedule. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a hater.
Well, I don't think we should, diminish what Fran Brown's done because not Clemson, but Syracuse was an absolute crater before he showed up with Kyle McCord.
I mean, they were good when Donovan McNabb was there.
That was what, 1997? I was 4 years old.
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
I was 4 years old. I was wearing diapers. I have a
Why are you
beard
wearing
now.
diapers at 4, bro? Why are you wearing diapers at 4? Get potty
I don't
trained.
know.
What are you doing?
Pull up something. I was not. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Anyways, yes, I understand. But this is a fun one from Sid, and I have seen this too. Miami fans are already acting like they beat Notre Dame. That is great. And listen, if you're new to the Notre Dame or new to interacting with Miami fans, this is their Super Bowl right now, the off season. This is when they get the loudest, and you're going to hear some crazy, outlandish takes like they have been the pinnacle of college football for the past 20 years. And the fact is, they haven't been good for 25 years. So just remind them of that and let them think that they're great. And then Notre Dame just has to go take care of business. Yeah, Miami fans. So here's where they get real great because Sid brings up that he hates Miami more than Michigan. I think I do too, as far as the schools and everything like that. The fans are the same, exactly the same, and
No.
it was never more noticeable than when they combined fan bases to become the Wolvercanes and go after Ohio State. Both fan bases, and it's like Miami. I'm sorry we broke your program. Not we, but like Ohio State fans are saying that. Ohio State fans are like, I'm sorry Ohio State broke your program back in 2001. But, like, it's been 25 years. Let's get over it.
Well, whenever it comes down to the Miami fans, they always say don't pick on the little guy. The biggest thing that Miami has had in their way was Donna Shalala, Tad Foote, Jimmy Johnson. This goes back all the way to even Schnellenberger. When Schnellenberger was there, then Jimmy takes over, and then it goes from Jimmy to Erickson, and then Erickson to Butch Davis, the sanctions, and
then Larry Coker or whatever.
Yeah, Larry Coker, and he was just a glorified babysitter. But I think this is, and not that I'm trying to toot Miami's horn, and then it's one of those things that I think that not a lot of people give Butch Davis any credit for the turnaround he did at Miami because that's back when scholarships mattered.
I mean everything. It was a different day.
It was a big deal, and I think that people don't give Butch Davis the credit for being the architect of that. One of the greatest teams I would say beside what 02 what was it 01 Miami. 47 players on that roster drafted, all recruited by Butch Davis.
I mean I agree, and Butch Davis did a great thing there, and I have a hard time with Butch Davis because I know Butch Davis as the guy that brought the Browns back to Cleveland and was the head coach in Cleveland when they first came back. I think there was one coach before him for like 2 years. I don't remember. I was like 7 years old. But I remember Butch Davis being like the main coach when they first came back to the NFL, and God, it was awful. But he had some good times there. I mean, not like didn't go to the playoffs or anything, but like better than what it is now.
Well, I just the old adage is that some guys should stay in college. I think Butch Davis was a college football coach.
Yeah, I agree.
The NFL thing, but back then the NFL was so different than it is now. Because look at the success that I get it. Everybody hates Harbaugh, but I'm just saying that the dude comes into the Chargers, takes them to the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good coach. and it's you're allowed to advance scout in the NFL, so he's allowed to keep doing what he is really good at. So,
well, I don't. The difference
I'm being
between
facetious.
the difference I think is one of those things that when the X's and O's are equal, it comes down to players and motivation.
Yep. Well, yeah, it's not about the X's and O's. It's about the Jimmies and Joes, right?
So,
but yeah, Al Golden was at Miami. That's true. Al Golden might be the greatest self-promoter of all time. Dude had a below 500 record at Temple and somehow landed the Miami head coaching job, and then got fired from Miami and landed an NFL DC job. It was crazy. But good. But he's a good defensive coach. I'm not hating on him. He's a good coach. He went to Miami at a terrible time. But yeah, I remember that. I wanted Butch Davis at Notre Dame too. Actually, I believe they almost hired him.
yeah. We could. You want to hit this, Mr. Unlimited?
Yeah, Mr. Unlimited.
Where do you think he's going to land?
Favorite guy. I don't know where he's going to land. I just think it's interesting that Jay Glazer, who is apparently Mike Tomlin's best friend, was on a radio show, and there hasn't really been any breaking news. I told you either yesterday or earlier this week about the report that he had been offered or was going to sign like a 2-year, $50 million contract. But apparently that's not the case. Apparently the Steelers are moving on from Mr. Unlimited, and they're gonna let him walk. And Jay Glazer said that he thinks they're also moving on from Justin Fields. So their 2 quarterbacks that they had this year are both heading out of town. And so I don't know where Russell lands. I think that's very dependent on how the draft goes and what happens. My biggest thing is what is the Steelers' plan at quarterback?
Hopefully drafting Jackson Dart.
Yeah.
I don't know. If it's hard to put this in the box because the Steelers don't trade for big players. And being a football fan of the Pittsburgh Steelers, it is one of those things that you have your expectation is that like when Patrick Peterson was available or like Larry Fitzgerald, like when there was grumblings about him getting traded, when Ben was there, they're like, oh, we should trade for Fitzgerald. No, because the one thing I've learned about the NFL, this is just the only time a big time trade has really worked out on both ends of both ends for both teams. The biggest one I can remember is Stafford Golf.
Oh yeah, that's
because another big trade, Champ Bailey, Clinton Portis. Nobody in that deal won anything. They both great players.
Yeah. I mean, what was that? That was when Clinton Portis went from the Broncos to the Redskins, and Champ Bailey went from the Redskins to the Broncos.
Yep.
I don't know. Didn't Champ Bailey win a Super Bowl with the Broncos? Was he on the team still? I don't remember when that was. But
I don't think so because they didn't win one until Manning got there.
That's right. Yeah.
But regardless, I'm not a big trade guy. Like there's some people are like we'll make this trade, and I mean I don't mind the draft day thing, but I know this is going to be an unpopular opinion in Buckeye land. I mean, if the Steelers, there's 2 organizations that would, if you went through a couple and the 2 organizations that worked you out, moved on from you, that typically mean you didn't have it, which was usually New England and Pittsburgh. If you were somewhere like when New England moved on from Cam when Belichick was there, I would say it's because Cam couldn't play anymore.
Probably, yeah, but
it's like kind of like the Cardinals in baseball. Will Fields get another opportunity? I say he gets one more opportunity.
Bring him to Cleveland, baby. I'm ready. Give me the Fields experience for next year.
I talked to somebody today about that whole Cleveland thing.
Yeah.
When Watson gets healthy, they're playing Watson. was what I was told.
He just re-tore his Achilles. When the hell is he going to be healthy?
I don't know, but
that's fine. Let Fields play 14 games, and then he can play the last 4 when we're 4-10.
When I talked to this person, they said that Haslam needs to just fire everyone.
Yeah, I mean,
like
the only person that's done a decent job is Kevin Stefanski, and he's had to do it at the behest of what he's been given. I mean, Andrew Berry, D. Podesta, all those guys in the front office have done a terrible job. D. Podesta's been there 9 years, and what the hell have we done but got worse?
And also real quick, I know we have a lot of people from Chicago watching this show.
Mm-hmm.
Hate it or love it. We lost Bears owner Virginia McCaskey today. That is a tough loss. The football world, legendary owner. She been in charge of the Bears for I think 40 some odd years. That is a
yeah, that's rough.
So the football world, it's a tough one, but
it is. It moves on, but we'll go ahead and knock out this Myles Garrett thing and then reset the show because I know we talked a lot, so we won't go in depth. If you want to hear our take on Myles Garrett and the trade, go back to yesterday's episode. We had a solid, probably 30-minute conversation about it, honestly. But after Myles Garrett announced that he wanted to be traded, he's obviously done a radio spot at Media Row or whatever it's called down there at the Super Bowl. But now there's been some other opportunities for some other people to talk. And so I have a video for you here. I can only play a little bit of it. But David Njoku was asked about it. And here's what he had to say.
To make like a plea. Come on, dog. Stay home, bro. He knows who I'm talking to. Stay home. Come on, give it another shot. We ain't that far off, honestly speaking. So,
do you and Myles?
So yeah, I can't play much more than that, or else we'll get hit with a copyright. But he made his plea, essentially saying, "Stay home, man. We'll get it. We're not that far off. Give it another shot." All the players want Myles Garrett in Cleveland, and
one thing that I'll add there is that I get the locker room seems like it's tight there. Mm-hmm. The tough thing is that, when we discuss this at first, you look at it at face value, it's tough to really assess the situation. But, like I said, at the end of the day, if he doesn't want to be there, they gotta kind of, in my opinion, do the right thing and move on for both parties, because this is a business at the end of the day. And in order to get the Browns on the right track, get them back on track, everybody's got to be pulling the rope the same way.
And I think they'll meet with Myles and they'll get him in line and they'll get him moving in the right direction. If Myles plays in Cleveland this fall, he's going to be moving the same direction as the organization. I promise you. That's not an issue. I don't think the way that culture is up there. I don't love some of the personnel decisions, but for whatever reason, the culture in the locker room is actually phenomenal. And the only negative in the locker room is Deshaun Watson, from what I hear. But Denzel Ward also spoke out about the Myles Garrett trade. And essentially he said, listen, if Myles gets traded, I want out. He's like, I don't want to play here without Myles. I'm not doing it. So he's expected to request a trade if they do trade Myles. So now you're talking about, now not only has Myles Garrett put you in a position where you have to choose how to handle him, but you're talking about losing your All-Pro, Pro Bowl #1 corner as well if you do trade him. So now that just gives the Browns even more of a reason to keep Myles.
Well, when it comes to the Denzel Burke stuff, it's
Denzel Ward.
Not Denzel Burke. Denzel Ward, how could I forget? Is that barbecue back there? And you didn't invite me?
Didn't hurt my feelings.
So, I don't know. I think, but see, this is what happens for some people that have never played football and knows how it goes. like when you practice every day, you know if the offense sucks or not. And when you play defense and your offense sucks, it's really hard to want to give a damn. But you know what? If it's at all possible, if the Browns could afford it, get Sam Darnold.
I don't know if he's gonna. How's he going to be available?
He only signed a 1-year deal in Minnesota.
You don't think they're going to bring him back?
I don't know. It depends. Yeah. But
you got to bring somebody in that like almost like a Jameis Winston. Like he's able to. Jameis was perfect for that situation. He just isn't very good at football. Where he can handle that locker room, and he was loved in the locker room, but he could also handle Deshaun Watson and build Deshaun Watson up and praise him and be that force. But also the locker room's like, all right, well, we get it. Oh, Deshaun goes down. All right, now our guy's in. Now we got Jameis. But it's going to be hard to bring somebody into that locker. That's why I'm telling you right now, I think they're going to shut Deshaun down for the year. I think they're going to shut him down for the year, pay him his money, and then bring somebody else in and tell Deshaun, hey, go away. You can't play this year. Your Achilles isn't going to be healed. We'll give you, your money, nothing, or whatever. And then next year, after this year, they'll kick it down the road again, and then we'll figure it out. But I don't know how you bring Deshaun Watson back into that locker room.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough situation. But with that being said, let's get a word from our partner.
What's up, guys? If you have been watching the show for a while, if you're like me, that you love a good nicotine pouch. So that's why we're super excited to offer our first ever promotion here on the show. ALP pouches, ALP pouches, the new standard in nicotine pouches. A better time with ALP pouches. A better time isn't just a tagline, it's a promise. We love nicotine pouches, and we're here to share that love. Better products, better experiences, and a genuine commitment to a better world. That's why a portion of every sale goes to real causes, not political players. Simple, honest, and yes, better. Best part about ALP pouches is you get more pouches in every tin. That's right, you get 20 pouches per tin as opposed to the regular 15. Also, tins come in 3 different strengths from 3, 6, and 9 milligrams, so you can pick your strength. And amazing flavors. All the pouches come with enhanced moisture, so no more dry pouches chafing your lips or giving you cuts and scratches on your inner lips. They come in all sorts of great flavors, all your typical flavors, or try my favorite, the refreshing chill or the tropical fruit in the 9 milligram. ALP isn't just better, ALP is the new standard. Created by real users, not suits in a boardroom, we've made the product they never could. So go over to alppouch.com/Duke Show. That's alppouch.com/Duke Show to get 10% off your first purchase of America's newest nicotine pouch standard. All right, go get some pouches. I'm about to throw a refreshing chill in. 9 milligrams.
Yes, sir.
But also, if you're out there watching on YouTube or on Twitter, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Come on over to Twitter, hit the like button. Make sure you give us a subscribe as well. Hit the bell notifications. That way you get notified anytime we go live. It's Monday through Friday at 7:30 p.m. all year long. We do some special shows on during the season, and we might throw a couple in the off season if there's reason to, like maybe a spring game show or something like that. But definitely come on over, like and subscribe, get in the chat. We got a nice little active chat going on here. We got Sid, Joe, Amin was in here, all kinds of people. T's here. Waiting to see if Dave's here. Where's Dave? Dave, you here?
Yeah, I
Dave's usually here.
I figured Dave would be here. Yeah, so it's the topic du jour, Ryan Day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, gets himself a nice little payday. Nice little extension, making him the second highest paid public coach in the nation. I say that because nobody really knows what Marcus Freeman is making. So I don't know. Marcus could be making more. Who knows? I don't know. But I do know that the only public employee that's paid more at the head coach position in college football is Kirby Smart, right? And then it's Ryan Day, and then Dabo Swinney is third. He's going to get a nice little bump, and he gets some length added, and so he's going to be the Ohio State head coach, unless he decides not to be, for the foreseeable future. I mean, his contract goes through 2031. It's 7 years, $12.5 million a year. So what is that, like 90 million or something like that? And so there's a hefty buyout if fans get a little rowdy and want him gone. Just know that there's a hefty buyout coming. But I mean, the crazy thing for me is the reaction from both fan bases, really. I mean, Michigan fans, I understand Ryan Day's 2-4 against you. And yes, I said 2-4. And then, hasn't won in the last 4 years. So you guys think that, perfect. Keep Ryan. We'll just keep beating him. I understand, until he proves you differently. And then Ohio State fans, I get why you're happy. He just won a damn national championship. Like, I get it. But, I mean, how do you feel about it, Duke?
It's going to be rough, because not to mention all the changes going around with Ohio State. No more Justin Fry, no more Chip Kelly, Brian Hartline. It's tough to criticize former players in the media. How do I think that this is going to pan out? The Hartline thing, this is just my opinion. I'll put it out there. I could be wrong, or it could be right. 18 months, you're going to have a new offensive coordinator, and it's going to be one of two things. Brian Hartline gets fired, or Brian Hartline takes a head coaching job. Those are your two things. And for everybody that says that he's not going to leave, it's going to be hard to sit in a room with a guy that is doing the job that you want to do, that makes $11 more million a year than you. If you have any competitive juices at all, you're not going to want to be why would you want to be second fiddle? That's just kind of a loser's mentality, in my opinion.
I don't disagree. I don't think he leaves. I'd give him 2 to 3 years before he's gone if he does a good job.
Which is,
I don't think he'll take just the first head coaching job offered to him. I think he is going to be smart and picky about it, so he'll want a good situation. And I don't think he'll get offered those top tier, really good situation jobs after just one season as an OC. So if he does a good job, he'll be here for 2 to 3 years as an OC. If he doesn't do a good job, he will be your OC for 6 weeks. And then Ryan Day will take back play calling, and then he'll be the OC in name only, and he'll go back to being a wide receivers coach next fall.
And let's just say, I'm playing devil's advocate here. What if Hartline is an abject failure?
Then Ryan Day takes over play calling like he did last time they did this 2 years ago. He has to try to balance being the head coach and essentially being the offensive coordinator. We saw how that worked out. It wasn't terrible. I mean, they went 11-1 in the regular season, which is better than they did this year. They lost the Missouri Bowl game. So they can still be successful that way. Ryan Day is a phenomenal play caller. I don't see any issue with that. The only issue is it definitely took away from his ability to help with other things and to focus on special teams and things like that. But ultimately, I think you get through this year. Probably don't win a national championship, that's for sure. Probably make the playoffs, lose first round, second round, whatever it is. And then you go out and you try to find your next Chip Kelly.
Since Chip Kelly left, this is just all things that I would have done. Would they have interviewed Justin Fry for the OC position?
No, I doubt it. I don't think he's ever I'll be right back, but I don't think he's ever called a play.
Gotcha. Yeah, that was something that that I was thinking about before Justin Fry left to go to Arizona, while he was interviewing with the Bears. Um, it's something that I would have thought maybe Fry would have been asked to at least interview him, maybe been able to keep him. Justin had been a football coach for a long time. He's got experience. He wants to be a head coach, and I would have thought that maybe they could have interviewed Justin Fry just to kind of keep him in the fold. He knew the kids, knew everybody.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. So
I don't think that was ever a consideration, just from what I understand, and I don't think Justin Fry really expected that to be a consideration. After kind of how his time at Ohio State went, like ultimately he was a successful offensive line coach, but he had some areas that were, I guess subpar, or like not looked at great by the staff and by the fans. But
I disagree with that, because I think the O-line recruiting with the NIL stuff is kind of, I don't think you should hold that against the coaches, because they want to hold David Sanders over his head. Well, what happens if David Sanders goes to Tennessee and absolutely stinks, and you paid him $2 million, which is more than your other 4 offensive linemen are getting paid that are currently there? I mean, I think that everybody that, Paris Johnson, Donnie Jackson, a lot of the guys that Fry brought in is just, I don't think the offensive line has been that bad outside of Tegra being crappy all year.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I just think that he didn't wow as much as Brian Hartline has. And so that's and I felt like Ryan, after bringing Chip Kelly in, felt like he had to either promote Brian Hartline, who is the golden child of Ohio State football right now in the fans' eyes and a lot of the coaches' eyes. He had to either promote him, or he had to go out and he had to make a splash hire. And I don't think there were any splash hires out there to be made.
My boy Dave's got a question.
It's not looking great up there. They just lost their general manager. I saw Max Steinecker or something like that, I believe. Yeah. He just went to, where was that? I forget where he went, but they lost their general manager, Steinecker. Yeah, where did he go? I just saw it today. Oh, what? That can't be right. Wait, he was hired by USC, but USC just hired Chad Bowden as their GM.
Lincoln needs.
I don't know what his position. Oh, Chad Bowden. Oh, he's going to be director of personnel at USC. Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha.
We'll hit this. We'll hit this quick before we hit the Notre Dame stuff. The one big feeling that I have on Wisconsin is the fact that I think Fickle's got to win. He's got to win 8 or 9 games for them to, I think, keep him. It hasn't been going well up there. Wisconsin's a tough place to recruit when you're recruiting against USC, Ohio State, even Illinois right now, which I low-key think that even though I'm very much against coaches coaching at their alma mater, I think when Kirk Ferentz retires, I've kind of talked to your brother about this. I've always said it. When Kirk Ferentz retires, that's Brett Bielema's job, I think.
No, it could be, yeah. It definitely could be.
Because they've had two coaches, like they're just like the Steelers, two coaches since the 70s, Hayden Fry, which I'm sure your grandfather knew him.
Oh yeah, he knew him real well. Mm-hmm.
So Hayden Fry and Kirk Ferentz. Ferentz has been there 25 years, and
longer than that probably.
And the biggest thing is that we'll hop into Notre Dame here because I know you got to get rolling, but the one thing is that some of these programs that want to be ambitious and want to go out and make the aggressive hire, the Floridas, the Nebraskas, giving a guy some time. I think Penn State is at their James Franklin Phil.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that if you're going to, because I think Penn State is pushing for a national championship, and I think it's natty or bust for Penn State. And I don't see where you got to have a jump off point with this. Because if you're going to move on from Franklin, it's going to completely tear your whole staff apart. The Tom Allen thing, Tom was leaving when he took the Penn State job.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. Completely. But overall, I mean, I think it'll be interesting to see how things shake out in the Big Ten. It'll be interesting. I'm really interested to see how Ryan Day finishes his tenure at Ohio State. Now that he has this extension, he has the natty, so one of the monkeys is off his back, right, where he was getting pressure for that. But he has, if he stays the entirety of the contract, he has 7 more opportunities to beat the team up north. And if he can finish with let's say a 7-5 record, so he wins the next 6 or 5 or whatever against Michigan, I think he goes down as one of the greatest college football coaches in Ohio State history.
Is his kid in high school yet?
Yeah, he's a freshman or a sophomore this year. His oldest son, he's got multiple kids, I believe.
I think that he's going to coach his oldest son, take him through Ohio State, and
he could. So that would put him here 7 years.
Exactly. So when RJ is graduated, if he can make it that long, I think Ryan Day says, you know what, I did everything I could do. I won 100 games, won a national championship. I wouldn't be shocked if a lot of people forget that northeast pocket quarter up there, like Boston College, and Ryan can go. He would get so much slack if because Billy O was getting older, took over for Billy O. I mean, recruit that whole northeast area, and do it out there. I wouldn't be shocked for him to go home and do that. He went, did the big bright lights at Ohio State, won the big ring. He can go right off in the sunset and nobody can say anything. So that's just what it is. But on the other front here, we got some coaches departing at Notre Dame.
Yeah, we do, and let's get to that in a second. I want to hit a couple chats here. T with the OH and the middle finger emoji. Are you middle fingering us or are you middle fingering Ohio State? But I'll give you an IO either way.
But you can look in the mirror.
Yeah, I don't know. And Joe said, "I like your show, intelligent and topical." Thank you, I appreciate it. We try to be both those things. Intelligent, sometimes not as much as topical. But
I just don't have the patience to sit here and for 3 hours and talk about one specific thing.
No, yeah, that's why we jump around and we talk about other stuff because let's be honest, you guys, there's not, especially this time, I could do an hour-long show on just Notre Dame, but it would get pretty boring pretty quick. Let's see here. We did that one. Okay. But yeah, so Notre Dame, I one of my favorite coaches on staff. I was really sad to see this. I love his story. That's really what it was. And he's a great coach too, don't get me wrong. But Dylan McCullough, the running backs coach for Notre Dame, who's been the running backs coach for I think the last 3 years.
2 or 3 somewhere in
Yeah,
there.
2 or 3 years. He came over from the Kansas City Chiefs. He has experience in college and the pros. He's heading out to Vegas to go be the running backs coach for the Vegas Raiders. He's linking up with Chip Kelly and Pete Carroll, and he's gonna try to rebuild the Vegas Raiders into a Super Bowl contender. I hate to see him go. He's done a great job. I mean, look at the running backs that they've put out in the last couple of years. Look at what Jeremiah Love has become. Audric Estime, some of those guys that he's had turned out to be absolute studs. And you hate to see him go. And do you know his story? Like, did you watch his story is absolutely insane. For anybody out there who hasn't heard his story, I'll give you a quick synopsis, but definitely go watch Here Come the Irish I think it's on Peacock. And you can just find that episode if you want just the story. But kid grew up in Youngstown, Ohio, was adopted, found out he was adopted when he was a little bit older, like 8 or something like that. Ends up going to Miami of Ohio on a football scholarship to play running back for a coach that recruited him. The coach met him at his high school, recruited him. He goes to play for him. Guy becomes his mentor. He never knew his birth parents, goes out and starts coaching. And finally, at 18 years old, his mom's like, we can find out who your parents are if you want to know. And he's like, no, I don't need to know. I don't care. He got a little bit older and he was like, you know what? I want to know. And so he found out who his mom was. And then on the birth certificate, there was no dad listed. So he didn't know who his dad was. So he reached out to his mom and his mom goes, well, do you want to know who your dad is? And he said, yeah. And she said, oh, this is his name. And he goes, oh, I know him. He was my coach at Miami. Did he know he had a son? And his mom said, no, I never told him. So the guy that recruited him to play college football was his father all along. Neither one of them had any idea at the time. And now he still was his mentor, so he reached out to him and broke the news to him, and they've obviously gotten closer over it. But, I mean, what a crazy – in what world does that happen?
Oh, no doubt. That's how it goes sometimes. You just never really know what to expect in life.
Yep, that's a fact.
That's just the way it goes. And I agree with Joe here on this comment.
Yep.
I totally agree with
yeah.
that.
I'm still waiting on the news on the GM, man. I every day I'm double checking. I'm texting people like, hey, is it going to be announced? When is it going to be announced? And everybody's waiting. And I don't know. The longer it drags on, the more nervous I get that it's not going to be the guy out of Texas Tech that I thought it was going to be. Which if it's not, I'm fine. Whoever they hire, I'm sure will be great. But the cupboard is definitely full. And so this is what happens when you reach a certain point in college football. You play for a national title, you're going to lose coaches.
Right.
I mean, Nick Saban did it all the time. And you know how you get to be Nick Saban is when you lose coaches, you reload the coaching room with good coaches. Not always the same level, but close or as good as you could get, and you find different ways to win. And so we'll see. Marcus Freeman, this is the next evolution in his growth as a head coach.
Right.
Okay, you figured out the first part. Now how do you build and continue it?
Well, one of the big things that Marcus has got to do at Notre Dame is try to get some longevity. I think this is probably for Denbrock. I think this is the end of the line. I don't think that I don't know. It would be nice because I don't think Chris Ash is going to be a long-term stay at Notre Dame. I would say if Notre Dame goes on a dynastic run, Chris Ash is maybe there 2 years. Yeah,
and I think and you have to understand that if you're going to be playing for national titles, if you're going to be in the playoffs, if you're going to be that type of program, coordinators aren't sticking around for more than 2-3 years ever.
Exactly, that's the way it was.
So you gotta know that going into it, and so I think this is a perfect stopgap because Ash can coach for 2 years. And then Mickens should be ready, and you can turn it over to Mickens. He can do it for 2-3 years, and you got to fill the pipe. It's like recruiting almost. You got to fill the pipeline with coaches that are coming up through the system and via the transfer portal, aka outside hires, to get you to where your coaches are ready. And it's no different than it's ever been in coaching. It's just a little more fast track now with transfer portal and NIL. But yeah, I mean, that's why you look at, that's why coaching trees are so important. And if you don't have a coaching tree like James Franklin, who doesn't have a single coach,
well,
that's kind of like, what have you been doing?
Also, I feel like there's been a youth movement that's gone through. That's gone through the coaching ranks, so we'll see how this pans out. But I mean, the NFL for the longest time, that's one thing I always liked about college football is, even though the guy may not get the head job, you'll get retreads every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
But in the NFL, I can't like the New England guys. Bill Belichick, great coach. Not going to take anything away from him, but
his tree's not that impressive.
Like Mangini got 2 jobs. Matt Patricia is probably going to get another job.
Yeah, you got
to me, the height of the arrogance.
Josh
McDaniels is getting another crack at it, and I bet
Charlie Weiss, Romeo Crennel. You go down the list.
They'll watch. Vrabel will turn that place around. Josh McDaniels to get a head coaching job out of this.
Mm-hmm.
Watch.
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. But it's not as much in college, but you do get some of those retreads in college that, like an Al Golden, who goes and becomes a head coach at a couple stops, isn't up to par, isn't very good, and then he goes back and he becomes a DC again, and that's where you get the we lost the Duke. The Duke is gone. He's back. But you get some of those retreads like an Al Golden, or Chip Kelly's a little different, but some of those guys that become coordinators again and get back. But interesting to see. But I do want to play before we get out of here. I know I do have to get going, but I do want to play the comments. And if you haven't seen them, take it with a grain of salt. But Chad Bowden, the former GM of Notre Dame, who was hired by USC, which I know it's not Ohio State, Michigan, but I wish Notre Dame fans were a little more upset about the fact that this guy jumped ship to go to USC. Like, Ohio State fans motherfucked Tony Alford from here to fucking Timbuktu when he went to Michigan, and and they didn't even want him at Ohio State. They were just mad he went to Michigan. And Chad Bowden did a great job. Notre Dame wanted to keep him, and he goes to USC. But here's his comments. 12.5. Hey, you can pay me $12.5 million to lose to just about anybody.
Yeah, I mean, it's just.
But let me put these comments up here, and I want your opinion on if this was him selling his new job or him kind of throwing shade at Notre Dame.
Notre Dame did everything they could to, keep me there. USC for me, it meant more to me. When I was a kid, I watched Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush, like that was my team. Lendell White, Jarrett, like all those guys. USC kind of held something, in my heart.
All right, so hold on. So, I would have to look up where Chad Bowden is from, but and he went on to say, either in that press conference or later on, he said something about the fact that Los Angeles is the greatest city in America. Okay, bud. I think not to make light of a terrible situation, but half of Los Angeles is on fire right now. I don't know how it can be the greatest city in America. But yeah, I think, saying it meant more to me, like, that's just, all right, well, fuck you then. Good. I'm glad you're gone. You know what? I hope you're ready, because it's a little different being at USC than it is Notre Dame. And what I mean by that is it's no longer the Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush days. It's been 20 fucking years since those were the days. And they haven't been that in 20 years. So that's cool. enjoy Lincoln Riley. Enjoy never having a defense. You have fucking Rob Ryan's goofy ass coaching defense over there.
Hey, you don't like Rob?
But I think Rob's hilarious. I highly doubt he's going to be very effective as a college football coach, but that's neither here nor there. But I mean, what do you think? Cam here said that it was major shade. It just it meant more to me. Part was where I really felt like it was a little like F you to Notre Dame, and I also thought it was kind of egotistical or narcissistic to be like, oh, Notre Dame did everything they could and tried their hardest to keep me. Like, dude, you're like, I know you're a commodity, but like you're acting like you're the fucking best head coach in America and they couldn't keep you. Like, you're a GM. There's other GMs. And that's why I want Notre Dame to go get this kid from Texas Tech, and I want that guy to fucking ball out. And Marcus Freeman gonna punish. I thought this meant motherfucker gonna punish, but yeah, Marcus Freeman gonna punish Chad for this. I don't know how, but he's going to. He might pull a Ryan Day and talk some shit and just say we're gonna hang 100 on him. But
yeah, I want to say he's from LA.
Oh, well, okay.
And also one of the arrogance, I would say, why he would make those comments is because his dad was the youngest general manager in Major League Baseball history.
Yeah, that makes sense. And this one, great hair. Yeah, he'll fit right in LA. Cam, LA is a shithole. Yeah, I went there. I've been there a couple times. Never really enjoyed it. But yeah, I think he was throwing shade, and I like that. If you're gonna play the heel, play the heel. If you're gonna go from Notre Dame to USC, take some shots. Make this rivalry a little more heated. Give Notre Dame a reason. Now, I don't know if I would take shots at a sleeping giant like Notre Dame. They're not even sleeping; they're just in the natty. But taking shots at a team that's really dominated you recently is not something I would do. But hey, talk your shit.
Well, if anything, this is going to be a rough dose of medicine, but his dad was a pretty good general manager and was promoted by Mark Schott of the Cincinnati Reds whenever he went over there. So
good for him. That's good. Yeah. But that's all I got. I gotta bounce. I gotta get these kids put to bed. But yeah, I appreciate everybody tuning in.
One last note, he also Marcus Freeman brought him to Notre Dame. So
yeah, I know.
That would be a sometimes life's all about bridges and
Yep, I agree. It sounds like a diss to the higher ups. If this is his dream job, good for him. Glad he got it. I saw him with Marcus Freeman on some ND show, and he was pretty comfortable with the back and forth. Yeah, he seems like he's real good on the mic. I mean, he didn't seem uncomfortable. And if his dream was to work at USC, then I guess good for him. Can't complain. But
if that's where he's from, kudos to you, man. But
yeah, but I think there's a different way to go about it than to take a shot at like that. But that's just me. But absolutely. But everybody out there, if you're on Twitter or YouTube, come on over to the YouTube chat. Get involved with us. We got Sid, Cam, Joe, all kinds of people in here tonight, popping off and engaging with the show, which is what we love to do. It's why we do this every night, is just to talk ball and to talk football, talk sports, and being able to interact with you guys makes it a lot more fun for us, a lot more fun for you guys. But absolutely, it does fit, Joe. I agree. Yeah, just hit that like and subscribe button on your way out. Like the episode, subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get this to over 500 in the next month or so, and get it. If it hits 500 before the spring game, I'm definitely going to do something for the spring game. And then other than that, hit the bell notification so you get notified every time we go live. And go check out Outpouches, outpouches.com/Duke Show. Check them out. They're delicious.
Yes, sir. But with all that being said, like and subscribe. Everybody have a good night. We are out.